everybody, this is Academic English Skills, and in this video we're going to continue looking at academic vocabulary from the Academic Word List, Sublist 1 continued. So if you missed the first video where we start looking at Sublist 1, please go and check that one out. So let's get started. Let's remind ourselves that when we mention the idea of academic vocabulary, we're talking about language we find in a university context. So the things we read, the assignments we write, also the lectures that we hear, and also the presentations that we'll give, the language that we're going to find and see as we progress in our degree programs. So let's get into it. First word we have, environment, environment. So just remember that the N is silent. Let's go. Environmental issues are at the forefront of politics today. Everywhere you look, products are now environmentally friendly. People from different backgrounds come from different environments. Establish, establish. Before you start your essay, establish what your opinion is. It was established that the pass mark would be 40%. The action of establishing clear rules can help everyone to understand what to do. Estimate, estimate. How long do you estimate it will take you to complete the essay? Students often underestimate how long writing an assignment can take. By my estimations, it should take us 30 minutes to arrive. So here, estimated, making like an educated prediction of how long something might take or the effects of something. Number two, we have the prefix underestimate. We can also have the prefix over. You can overestimate something as well, but obviously they are opposites. If you underestimate something, then basically it takes longer than you thought it would take. The third one, by my estimations, that's a collocation, a three-word phrase there really, that's commonly used, just to kind of tell the reader, it's really kind of by your educated guesses. Evident, evident. It was evidence that the essay was well organized. Evidently, you were able to write the reference list with no help. Smith, 2019, evidenced that more needs to be done in this area. When I know with the word evidence that maybe the most common word is probably evidence, because we use evidence a lot, don't we? That word a lot when we're writing assignments. In number three, the word is used as a reporting verb, which might seem unusual, but it is common. So Smith evidenced. So in other words, Smith used evidence. That's what it basically says or means. Factor, factor. There are many factors that led to the creation of the European Union. When factoring in the different parts, make sure you do not forget any. So here, factors, kind of different things that come together to create a bigger thing, you could say. Formula, formula. They use several different formulas before finding the right one that worked. The company has formulated a plan that will enable them to grow financially. They reformulated their ideas after reflecting on what they had done. They were engaged in the formulation of new academic modules. So again, some slightly different meanings. Number four, in the formulation, so they're almost like the creation. Reformulated, so they did this thing again, they looked at the calculations or their ideas again. Formulated the plan, they kind of created a plan. But in number one, different formulas, we underestimate, so we kind of think that's going to be related to maybe mathematical formulas or scientific formulas or equations, some kind of numerical formula or some kind of complex scientific formula. So some slightly different meanings between the sentences. The next one is function. Function. What is the function of a vice chancellor in a university? Machines need to be functional if people are to use them. All the computers are fully functioning, so are available to use. Identify, identify. Communication has been identified as one of the most important life skills. Computers can identify people based on certain features. Animals have identifiable markings which can help tell them apart. Everyone has their own unique identity, which makes us different. So here, identifiable, we have the adjective form. Indicate, indicate. The patterns indicate that this is significant. Doing well in exams is a good indicator of future success. Psychologists need to be clear if certain behavior is indicative of possible problems. So again, the different stress, indicate, but indicative, indicative, okay? Individual, individual. Many people see themselves as individuals rather than being part of society. Certain personality traits can be a sign of strong individuality. Some individualistic viewpoints can make people stand out when they do not want to. So that third one, individualistic, individualistic. Interpret, interpret. Sometimes research can be misinterpreted. This may be your interpretation of the evidence, but I suggest you reinterpret it and then comment. My conclusions were based on how I interpreted the results. The ability to evaluate evidence requires solid interpretative skills. So again, we got misinterpreted, so means, wrongly interpreted. We also have reinterpret in number 2, so to do something again, to interpret it again. However, the focus was on the noun interpretation. So remember, this word relates to understanding, how much you understood of something. So you're weighing up what you maybe heard or looked at or read, and then you're saying, this is what I think it means. Involve, involve. The research involved asking people to complete a questionnaire. Postgraduate students have a lot of involvement in performing research. Those who were uninvolved in the process felt that their views were not important. So uninvolved meaning not involved. Legal, legal. The legal process can be very complicated if you do not know it. Plagiarism is one illegality that you do not want to be involved with. 3, it can be difficult to disprove the legality of some viewpoints. So number 2, illegality, the prefix ill, like illegal. So here illegality is another noun form. Legislate, legislate. It's important that there is relevant legislation in a workplace. The university legislated that all attendance needed to be recorded. 3, the legislature could not agree on the compulsory nature of wearing masks. Okay, so this is also to do with the creation of rules or laws. So number 3, the legislature, that is really referring to the people who are responsible for the creation of laws in a country. Method, method. There are many methods of self-development. 2, It is best to take a methodical approach when learning a language. 3, she considered many methodologies before her dissertation. 4, which methodology did she choose? 5, whichever methodological approach you use, make sure it fits your research. So again, some different words, different word form for method, a methodological approach, you're describing the approach. Occur. Critical analysis occurs in many academic subjects. 2, there was an occurrence of different ideas. 3, the pattern reoccurred when the experiment was repeated. Number 2, an occurrence, so there's the noun form. Number 3, reoccurred, so it happened again. The next word, period. The exam period is a stressful time for students. Journals are published periodically throughout the year. The university issues periodic newsletters to all students. So here, period is to do with time. Principle. The principles of the university can guide how it is seen by the public. Though she was seen to be popular, some of her ideas were thought to be unprincipled. Okay. So here, principle can relate to laws or rules or personal rules here. Okay, so the principles of the university, you know, the way that the university operates by certain procedures or rules it follows. Unprincipled means that you don't really follow any personal moral rules. You're kind of like, you know, you don't really have a firm idea of where you stand on different things. Don't get confused, by the way, or try not to, between the word principle and the other word principle, where the spelling is different. Notice this is the LE spelling. There is also an AL spelling, which has a different meaning, okay? Proceed. There are certain procedures to follow when doing research. An essay should proceed using a particular structure. The proceeds of the event were reinvested by the organization. So some different meanings here. So procedures or proceed, you know, again, a way of doing things. There were certain procedures, there were certain ways of doing things. And as you should proceed, so should continue. But number 3, the proceeds, and this really relates to money. If you say the proceeds of an event, the proceeds are the money that an event got for doing it, or the money that an event received from paying customers or people attending. Proceeds. Process. Research can be a complicated process. The processing of new students can sometimes take a long time. So again, collocation, the processing of something or somebody. Require. The essay required students to obtain over 40% to pass. The requirements of the degree meant students had to work hard to pass. Number 3, essays requiring critical analysis can cause problems for students. So require relating to something that needs to be done in order to receive something or to continue something, yeah? So obviously if the essay required students to obtain over 40% to pass, so the essay meant students had to obtain this percentage. Research. Learning how to research is a valuable skill. Number 2, when researching new subject areas, students need to ensure they have enough time. 3, many researchers have postgraduate qualifications. Now, in number 1, learning how to research is a valuable skill. Notice it's research because it's a verb. Remember, if this was a noun, it would be research because the stress is on the beginning. So research as the noun, research as the verb, different stress. Respond, respond. The responses were collected and then analysed. The respondents were asked a series of questions on the subject. Though the teacher asked several questions, the students were quite unresponsive. So here, respondents meaning the people who responded, the people who gave answers. Unresponsive meaning not responsive. So in other words, not contributing, not participating, not doing anything basically. Significant, significant. If findings are significant, then they need to be emphasized. Having a degree signifies being able to study to a high level. The results that were insignificant were not useful to the overall research. Prefix in meaning not. Similar, similar. The two subjects vary and are completely dissimilar. There is a lot of similarity between some languages. Number 3, the previous report seems to support the evidence. And similarly, so does this one. Number 4, there are several similarities between the results. Number 1, dissimilar, prefix dis, meaning so not similar, not similar. Specific, specific. Number 1, sorry, you are being too general. Can you be more specific? Before applying, please read the job specification. What interests me specifically is that the job allows me to use my skills. Number 4, what are the specifications of this room? 5, specificity is more important than other things when checking for past infections. Some different meanings of the word here, the way it's used. So when you say, can you be more specific in number 1, you're saying, can you give me more detail? A job specification is basically what a job wants someone to do or needs somebody to do. Number 3, what interests me specifically. So again, you're picking out the detail of focus. Number 4, specifications of this room. Now, if you ask that question, the answer would relate to the dimensions of the room. So how wide or long or tall it is. Specifications. And number 5, specificity. Now, this is context specific, subject specific vocabulary you'll find in medicine and healthcare. Okay, so you might not come across that word often. You might not come across it at all unless you're studying medicine or healthcare. Structure, structure. The course structure allows students to focus on certain areas. Number 2, when assessing exams, often they are restructured to allow for new questions. The engineers used different mechanical structures on the project. Number 4, although the language was clear, overall the essay seems quite unstructured and confusing to read. So unstructured, not structured. And again, structure relating to how different parts work together or join together. Theory, theory. Research can establish if theories are still relevant now. Theoretically, many ideas can make sense, but in reality, they may not. Number 3, many subjects require students to study key theorists in their subject. So theories to do with ideas that are then used in certain subjects, like a way of doing certain things. Vary, vary. There are several disease variants that were analysed by the scientists. Number 2, as there are many variations in degree programs, it can be difficult to find similarities. Number 3, the research analysis looked at key variables that were found in the evidence. Number 4, invariably, there were differences of opinion throughout the group. So some good words there, definitely. Variance is the noun, variations, also a noun, variables, certain factors. And invariably, it's quite common in speaking invariably, when you're saying, generally or really always, there were difference of opinion. So vary. Okay, and that brings us to the end of our video on the continuation of Sublist 1. So as I said at the start, if you haven't seen the first video where I go through the start of Sublist 1 extensively, please go and check that out. And as always, come and check out the other things that I've got on this channel. Also, we have the Instagram page, Academic English Skills UK. The UK is important. And also the podcast, Academic Writing in 3 Minutes, which is on Spotify. It's also on Google Podcasts and on the RSS feed as well. Okay, thanks for listening. Any comments, let me know. Anything you'd like me to do more of, or like me to just do, because I haven't done it yet, please let me know. Thanks for watching, everyone.